Hello, my name is Benjamin Sison, and I will be presenting on Johann Heinrich Pestalozzi. I'm going to start out with a famous quote by him. He said, "I wish to wrest education from the outworn order of doddering old teaching hacks, as well as from the newfangled order of cheap, artificial teaching tricks, and entrust it to the eternal powers of nature herself, to the light which God has kindled and kept alive in the hearts of our fathers and mothers, to the interests of parents who desire their children to grow up in favor with God and with men." Johann had many ideas for education and also for social reform. He was born on January 12th in the year 1746. His father died when he was very young, leaving him and his sister to the care of their mother. Their mother met up with some financial difficulties, but was able to make it through with the help of her maid. Eventually, is also a fact that his mother was overprotective, or at least in the eyes of Johann. He thought that her overprotective and her sheltering kept him from learning necessary things that he should have and how to deal with certain things in life that he wanted to be able to deal with better. However, he did have another parental figure in his life. It was his grandfather, who he visited on holidays. His grandfather took him to visit various schools and houses of parishioners. On their visits, during these visits, Johann was impressioned. He realized that educational systems, in his opinion, were poor. He didn't think that teachers were doing a good job and that schools could be improved. He also saw in these houses that he visited children who were forced into child labor. He thought these children should not be working, they should be in school, and they should have a better education presented to them. So as he pursued his career and completed school, he had this in mind. He wanted social reform. He wanted to change education. He also wanted, some of the social reform ideas was helping orphans. First he tried to be a clergyman, but this failed. Later he tried to be a farmer with the idea that he had a theory about using agriculture and providing, through agricultural work, providing care for orphans. But this failed as well, since he ran into financial problems yet again, and this hurt him a lot. So later he finally turned to writing. One of his most famous books was How Gertrude Teaches Her Children. This book was meant for mothers, talking to them about the importance that they educate their children too, that they have a responsibility and not just the teachers. In this book he also presented many other ideas. He has a famous saying, which is still used today, which says, "Learning by head, hand, and heart." This is what he wanted for his students to do. He thought that in modern schooling systems they used far too many wordy lectures, far too many books, and it was just memorizing sets of information. But he believed that students should learn in a different manner. He believed that it should be more interactive, that they should be discovering, learning for themselves. He believed that there should be object lessons. He himself as a child was very active, and I'm sure that this was inspired by this, that he would like more activities, more to incorporate the students more in the classroom. He believed that children were like a seed. They could grow up to be something, but they had to start their potential now to grow up to be something important. And the education was obviously a very important part of a child growing up. He also realized that this is how you could bring about social reform, by affecting our children and changing their education today. You could affect social reform in the future. He also taught another very important principle in the classroom was love, that the classroom is like a family environment, that there's love, that it feels like a house, and that this child feels welcome there and is able to learn there because of these attributes. However, he never really thought of himself as a big success. He published many articles. He also did establish schools, but he believed that they didn't reach his ideas. They didn't put them to work. He never felt like he was a big success, but he was. Today we still remember his famous saying about learning with the head, hand, and heart. He's considered responsible for fixing the illiteracy problem in Spain in 1830, and today we still use many of his principles and philosophies in the classroom. He's had a very great impact. and surely the educational community would be incomplete without his ideas. Thank you.